Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. So today for our video, I decided to just get an energetic message or energy report from the Galactic Federation of Light for the Starseed Collective. So when I say Starseed Collective, I basically mean all of you, anybody that would be interested in the information on this channel, awakening souls, star seeds, light workers, people having a spiritual awakening, that whole collective, right? So I gear my messages towards this smaller collective and not the entire collective of humanity because, frankly, they're not watching these videos. And we are the ones who need support right now because we are the leaders and the way showers. So often I will go straight to source, God source, for the channeled messages, but I felt inspired to go to the Galactic Federation of Light. So if you don't know who that is, the Galactic Federation is a headquarters. And what it consists of, if you could view it like a large umbrella, not physically, but energetically, that houses all kinds of the smaller councils. So like the Pleiadian Council of Light, the Andromedan Council of Light, the Orion Council of Light, lots of different kinds of councils are within one large headquarters or organization. They do have a physical headquarters, which you can go and visit. Anybody can. If you have the right frequency to match that, then you would be able to visit it astrally. And I always get Archangel Michael to escort me there. He usually does not come inside the ship, but he will escort me there and back. So it's a very large ship though, like bigger than, it looks like it's like a third or a fourth the size of Earth. Like it's huge, right? And it seems to always just be like, it's never seems to really be in flight. It seems to just be outside of Earth's atmosphere, just outside of where, they would be allowed to kind of park the ship, for lack of a better term, and watch over us and send us the frequencies and the energy that we need. They're very invested right now in the story and what's going on with humanity, because it's not just about Earth. It represents so much. We are mirroring what's happening in a lot of Orion and many other places in the galaxy. So what happens here on Earth, the outcome will energetically affect everything in the Milky Way, at least, if not further out. So when I go onto the Galactic Federation ship, a lot of the times I go with my membership group. So they've been there with me and we've seen, we usually go into a very large meeting room. It's the biggest room on the ship. It has extremely high ceilings because of the different kinds of beings that would be going in there. Some would be extremely large because they're from all around the galaxy, not just the Milky Way, the whole universe. So it's a white room and it has what I always visualize or see as like a horse-shaped row of desks, and there behind the desks is a member of every single star nation in the universe. So some that you might recognize, some that we would not recognize because they're much further away from Earth than our Milky Way. But you might recognize like the Lyran, a council member that represents the Lyran Council. So one member of that, Pleiades, Arcturus, Andromeda, Sirius, Mantis Beings. There's so many, and it's very galactic. There is a Council for Humanity. I talk to them a lot too when getting these messages. They do have humans on the Council for Humanity. They also have a lot of Pleiadians because they are very close to Earth and very invested in Earth. So that's kind of like a mixed council. But today, as soon as I arrived into that large meeting room with that like horseshoe of desks, and I kind of just stand in the center and like look up at everyone. And it also appears to be like rows of them going up because there are so many people there. But anyway, I was greeted right away today by a Mantis being. So I arrived, I said hello to a few people that I recognized, and then right away there was this beautiful Mantis being waiting for me to personally deliver a message, knowing that I was going in looking for a download to bring through to Earth, right? That's what I do. I'm a channel for that. So I can bring the information, the messages, the guidance, the frequencies from that higher place and then channel them just like I'm doing right now for you. So that's why somebody was waiting for me right away. They felt my intention before I probably even got there. So anyway, this mantis being was a feminine being, so a divine feminine representation. Her name was Patel, and she was very benevolent, very sweet, very large, like, I don't know, 9 to 10 feet tall, I suppose. Yes, they look like praying mantises. I know a lot of people ask me, is that actually what they look like? Yeah, they actually do. And there are a lot of insectoid beings in the galaxy. Like they're not all humanoid. So humanoid would have like, somewhat of a human shape. But there are a lot of different kinds of insectoid beings, like different spider beings and races. The mantis beings I'm very comfortable with. Some of them scare me a little bit because I have my own fears of being here on Earth with them. But this was a really high vibrational, benevolent, beautiful mantis being named Patel. Actually, she had a cute sense of humor because I got her name wrong. I thought she was saying petal, and she started laughing and then like spelled it out for me. It was Patel. I got an 8th dimensional imprint when I was talking with her. I felt that energy, and I believe her to be in that frequency of the 8th dimension. Does that mean every single mantis being is an 8th dimensional being? No. I feel like I'm vibrating in a high frequency right now of 5th dimensional. Does that mean every single human is 5th dimensional? No. It's very individual. It just is. For every soul, it's individual, and that is why you can't judge every kind of being by one being's actions. You can't judge all humans by one thing. You can't judge all reptilians by one group. You can't judge all mantis beings by maybe one experience you had. So just remember that it's very individual to the soul. But this soul, anyway, it felt 8th dimensional. That's just I saw the number 8. I felt it. That's the only proof I have for you is I just know what I feel and I know what I see. So, okay, so let's get into her message. Okay, so I wrote it down here for you in points, and I'll just describe it as we go. So she wanted to come through with a message for the Starseed Collective, the collective of awakening souls. The first image that she showed me was of spiraling energy going downwards, and it was all of these colors, and it was chaotic, and it was spiraling like a whirlpool going downwards. And she was showing me that that is the state of the world right now. The energy is in a spiral and it's being pulled down. Okay, so you can definitely see how things are spiraling downwards in politics, health, the state of humanity, our frequency being pulled down by things like judgment, fear, illness, controlling, outside forces. A lot of people are experiencing a lot of lack and scarcity in many different ways, including finances, food. There's a lot of scarcity. Everything is spiraling downwards. So visualize it. It's just like this huge portal or vortex of like a whirlpool just of these colors, and they're just spiraling and then they're being sucked downwards. That's what she showed me as a representation of what humanity is, and this world, the 3D world, is doing, what the state that it's in. And then she showed me a lot of it was visual with claircognizance, which is your psychic gift for knowing or having a download. It's in your crown chakra. So a lot of this was clairvoyance and claircognizance, and everyone works differently. I am pretty open to whatever that guide wants to use because I have been working with my psychic gifts for a long time. So if they want to speak to me, they can use my clairaudience. If they want to show me things, I'm ready. If they want to download things, I'm ready. So she was using visuals and claircognizance. Okay, so showing me something and then a downloaded message to match. So the next thing that she showed me was this, like, these lines going off further and further from each other. And it was more separation of timelines. So the timelines are separating further and further and further. And many of us, including myself, have chosen to leave the main timeline. There's a video on that on this channel if you want to do that, how to leave the main timeline or get off the main timeline. Many of us have chosen to do that, including myself, in, I guess it was October, with a big move that I did. And I completely moved out of the timeline that I was in onto something new that was a lot more high frequency. And you can choose to do that too, okay? And so there was more separation of timelines, specifically with like the people that are in their highest or pursuing their highest timeline, and awakening souls rising up out of that chaos that's spiraling downwards, out of the muck, rising up. All of a sudden, all of these timelines are shooting upwards, away from the mass of the collective consciousness of humanity. So, okay, so leaving. All right, so that's what she showed me. And then she gave a message here. There wasn't a visual with this. She just said, you are choosing the world that you feed. You are choosing the world that you're in. You are choosing the world that you power through what you're feeding it. So you're choosing. It's all a choice, right? So she said, you're choosing the world that you feed right now, and that it's not all just, just meditate and everything is good. Like that isn't everything that we need to be doing right now. Maybe there was a time where we could just sit around and meditate all day. My frequency feels high, so things are great. Right now, her message was that frequency must be accompanied by aligned action at this time. So it's not enough to just raise your own frequency and then just like bask in that, although that's a huge part of it. But there's a secondary part now, and that's to take aligned action. And you may call that, or I may call that, a soul nudge. Okay, so your frequency must be accompanied by aligned action at this time. Now is the time for action, is basically what she's saying there. And she said, many of you are receiving the transmissions, but not taking the leap. Okay, so be honest with yourself. Now, we've talked about this so much on this channel, so it's no surprise that this is coming through. Again, I refer to it a lot of the time as soul nudges. If you're receiving what she called transmissions, you could call that signs, soul nudges, intuition, downloads, but she's referring to it as transmissions, saying many of you are receiving the transmissions, but you're not taking the leap, meaning you're not doing anything about it. You're not following through, and you're not taking action. Okay, so I guess I talked about this a lot in the last energy reports. I did an energy report for the December 4th, I think it was new moon. I did an energy report for December, and I did an energy report for 3 months, November, December, January. So it's coming up that it's really important for us to take the leap. Now is the time. If now wasn't the time, none of this would be going on. Everything would be really just calm in the world. And you wouldn't be feeling such a sense of urgency, maybe in your solar plexus, where I feel a lot of urgency to take action. So if you are a soul, an awakened soul, going through a spiritual awakening maybe, then you have within you an earth mission that you brought here with you in your soul. It came with you. And along with that would be feelings of urgency. The feeling that I know I'm meant to do something. I know I'm here to help. How can I help? What can I do? Seeking. That is somebody with an earth mission. Okay, that feeling of urgency. I've had it since I was a little girl. I knew that I was on this planet to make a difference and to help in some way, in my own way. Okay, so maybe you feel that way too. So if you're receiving the transmission, like she's saying, take the leap. It's time to be bold. It's time to put action behind our words. Okay, I'll move on. The next thing that she said was, for the next step, now those who do take the leap will rejoice in their freedom for a time, but even they must continue to diligently do the work. Okay, so I feel personally like I've taken a really big leap into a new timeline. And that was all bliss for a little while at the beginning when you first arrive into it, but then it becomes it's back to doing the work again. And so maybe you're wondering, what is the work? Okay. So the work is continuing to remove density from yourself, from your energy body, your physical body, your soul, through shadow work, through emotional healing, through locating and healing or removing your blocks. And doing the work is also a lot to do with expansion, to be continually learning and expanding. It's normal to, after you take a leap, to have a period of integration or stillness, but then we naturally start to move back into our next leap or our next divine aligned action. It's a flow, it's a cycle, right? So we can't just do one hard thing and then we're good for life. That's not how it works. That's not how you continue to expand and grow, or even continue to maintain what you've already accomplished. So yes, so continuing to do the work, even once you are very brave and make that leap, right? And so for me, like, I really love the feeling of expansion. That is my favorite feeling. I want to feel like I am expanding all the time. And so I tend to step into like a student role when I want to feel like I need to expand, because I do a lot of like, leadership stuff. For me to expand, I like to go back to being a student. So take a course, or get a mentor or do something where I feel like a student again, and I feel like I'm learning. And then I take all of that energy of expansion and I turn around and I offer it to the next group, right? So I'm in the middle. I become the student to receive it all, the energy of it, the information I learn, expand, and then I'm ready to kind of blast off and do something with it. So usually I create something with my business, like a course or something. I create something for people or something for my members, right? So I use that energy to help others once I've helped myself. So you kind of fill your own cup up first, and then you hand it over. And then again, that's also a cycle, a pattern of going from student to teacher, back to student to teacher. And that's really powerful. That's a really powerful, and maybe that doesn't work for you. That's how I work. That's how I take leaps. I step into student mode. I get back to basics. I learn something new. Then I offer it. I do some kind of expansive leap, something that scares me usually, to create a new offering or something new. Like the membership group was the last thing that I did that was from a course. And I'm going through a new course right now and already feeling those same feelings of extreme expansion and already preparing something new to offer to you all coming this February. So it's going to be huge. It's going to be a mentorship, and it's going to be super powerful. And I'm sure I'll have lots of details for you soon about that. But just know that there's a lot brewing in the works right now. So where are you? Are you in, one of the people that is receiving the transmission, the signs, the soul nudge, the intuition, but not taking the leap? Or have you taken a great leap and you're in an integration period? Or have you moved through that stillness of integration and now you're starting over again, getting ready to do the next leap? Because we don't just do one, it's going to be leap after leap after leap. So it's good to know, it's good to be self-aware about where you are. Where are you at in your life, in your energy, in your spiritual journey? It's all really important. Okay, so let's get back to Patel's message, this beautiful Mantis being. The next thing that she said was, the new earth is being birthed with an interweb of higher timelines, and they must begin to intersect. Okay, so the new earth is being birthed with an interweb of higher timelines. So those are the higher timelines that we saw shooting out of the lower collective consciousness of humanity, kind of shooting upwards into your own higher timeline and living and existing up there. That's the birthing of the new earth. But they must begin to intersect, right? So that's a good thing. We want them to intersect. We want as many people as possible birthing their higher timelines, stepping into that, taking the leap. And then those higher timelines begin to intersect. And those intersections create unity. And again, back to the energy readings that I've been doing, that was a point in the December report, I believe, the December energy report, the uniting of hearts and coming together and working together, feeling called to be a part of a community or a group or some kind of container where you come together with people that are up here in their higher timelines, right? So again, that was the new earth is being birthed with an interweb of higher timelines. They must now begin to intersect. So as they begin to intersect, that's a really powerful foundation for the new earth. So hopefully that you're staying with me on all of that, and all of that makes sense to you. And then she just said, come together. So again, united hearts, come together, work together. We were never meant to do this alone. Why would there be so many of us here if we were meant to do it alone? So come together, share. I've been talking a lot lately, and I feel called for some reason to share it again here. So somebody must need to hear this. Share your dreams. If you've been having super detailed dreams, maybe about even specific people, talk about them to those people, or just share them in general. Talk about the dreams. Talk about what you're doing in the astral realms. Start sharing that. What is your soul up to? That's really important to share because it unites us. Because then somebody that you didn't realize was there with you on that very same mission is like, oh my gosh, I had the exact same experience, either in a meditation or during a nap or when I was sleeping or something. Their soul was there too. And then they can have confirmation. You can have confirmation, as well as the fact that when you dream about someone, that generally means that they have a message for you. So get your message too, right? So share, talk about your dreams, everyone. Seems really important to do that right now. Okay, and then the final point from Patel was I asked her about old Earth, because she was showing me this birthing of a new Earth and all this, and I knew a lot of people were going to be like, well, what's going to happen to this? So I said, well, what about old Earth? And she said, of old Earth, allow it to be what it needs to be without feeding it. So that means to not really attach to it either, because that feeds it. When you have an energetic cord to it, you're feeding it. So can you, and this is a huge task, and I'm not saying this is easy, okay? So please don't, I'm just like, oh, just forget it. I'm not saying that at all. And it's not about forgetting it. And it's not about leaving people behind. The words that she used were allow it to be what it needs to be. So that is stepping into a space of allowing, surrendering, honoring that world and the timeline that it needs to follow, and honoring the souls that need that still. There are many souls that will continue in that for a time, but that doesn't mean that they will never, shoot up into a higher timeline at some point. Everybody's on their own journey, and there's no rush. There's no rush. There is not. There's no cutoff. There's no deadline. There's no like, okay, if you don't make it by, what are people saying? Probably it's always something new every year, but I'm sure people are going to say something about December 21st because that's their favorite date. And still a lot of fear, and there's no reason for it. There is no rush, not for you, not for your family or your loved ones. New Earth will always have open doors. Always be available and happy to welcome in new souls. Of course. So that's why there's no rush. Yes, there is a separation happening. It's evident the separation happening in society. That is those timelines that they're separating off from the group mentality, from this. They don't want it anymore. They can't do it anymore. That's a good thing. That pushes us into our highest timeline. That does not mean that the people that are still there are stupid, are sheep, are asleep, or anything. Maybe they're not even asleep. Don't assume. Maybe they have karma that they are still really working on, untangling, and they need the chaos. Maybe they have a mission that's really difficult, an earth mission, which calls for them to stay down here. This is the 3D world that I keep pointing to. You don't know. I hate when I see people calling other people sheep, asleep, I don't know. It's like you're dehumanizing them. They are souls. They are wise. They are old, beautiful souls. They have a different mission than you. Maybe it's harder than yours, actually. Wouldn't that be way harder to stay in it? Or if it's not a mission down here, maybe it's extra lessons. Maybe they're learning a few extra things. Maybe they have that extra karma. You don't know. Okay, so no judgment and no rush. Okay, so I'll just kind of take a breath and realize that there's no cutoff time. It's okay. Maybe like me, you feel a lot of urgency. Well, that's for yourself. Get out then. Definitely get on your highest timeline, but don't rush others. Don't rush anyone. When they're ready, they will all of a sudden start searching and seeking for this information just like you have, just like I have. Okay. So your loved ones are safe. They're on their own journey. And it's beautiful. It's divinely timed. They're not behind. Everything is good. Okay, so I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you received something from it. And I just want to thank the Galactic Federation of Light for always, showing up for me and this group, this community, and being there. And I want to thank Patel, this amazing Mantis being. She was really powerful and really beautiful. And I don't talk to Mantis beings a lot. So that was really special for me. So let me know below if you have any questions about this video or comments, any comment. Did you like this style of video? Do you like hearing from Galactic Council members of Light? Do you have, a video request? Just let me know in the comments below. I do read them. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Please remember, it really helps the channel when you share these videos. So yes, I love a good thumbs up and a comment, but if you share it, that's really powerful. So please share it to Facebook or share it, with someone that you love so that other people can understand. There's a lot of powerful points in this that go against the grain of what other people are teaching. And it gives people a lot of peace in their hearts and relief. So please share it. And then of course, don't forget, if you want to do events just like this, like going to the Galactic Federation, talking to people, other crazy, beautiful astral events, workshops, learning new skills, moving through healing, past lives, karma, getting group readings, all of that is available in my membership group. It's not available on any other platform. I save the really special stuff for them. So join up with the membership. It's so affordable. Oh my goodness, you can afford it. It's only $22 a month and you get an event every single week. Plus access to me, access to this incredible community of evolving souls, powerful people in there. I love them all so much, and you will too. So if you're ready for your leap, if you're ready, you need the membership group. If you're ready to come together, unite with like-minded people on their highest timeline so that you can mirror that energy in your own life, it helps to be a part of a community and a group. It's helping me so much to grow and expand, and it will help you too. I guarantee it. Check out the testimonials. It's amazing. And then if that's not your thing, I'm still doing one-on-ones. I'm not sure how long I'm going to do them for. So that being said, if you want a reading, sign up soon, because I'm going to be moving in some new directions for the new year, as I mentioned with the February mentorship that I'll be doing. So I still am taking one-on-ones for readings or healing sessions. Check out the links below in the description of this video. You can just check out my website. Everything's there. I love you all. I love you. I love you. I love you. Please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you, beautiful star seeds. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.